What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Purple People Podcast. And I had it up here and I forgot. Oh, it's 619. This is episode 619
That
of the
number
Purple
blows
People.
me away every time.
It's wild. Welcome in. Kyle West is busy tonight, so it's just Adam and I, just like you would find on his YouTube channel, doing horror movie reviews. We're going to talk about the Vikings game this past Thursday night. Sorry we didn't do it sooner. I will take the blame for that. I was out of town doing a wedding, and I usually try to fully immerse myself on a trip like that. And
I mean, to be fair, that was kind of a
That was
horror movie.
that was awful. It was terrible in every facet. I have a lot of negative things to say. I have a lot of things. If you've never watched this show before, you'll probably think I'm crazy. If you're a regular on the show, you'll understand my hyperbole here. But there's not a single positive that I have from this game. It was hard to even pick a game ball. We do game balls and donkeys on the show if you're new. But I'm still going to maintain the faith, man. I think I've been the most negative I've ever been this season as a fan, which is crazy. Because you and I personally have witnessed a lot worse teams than this
Oh
one.
yeah, this is by far not the worst.
I think it's just years of failure and disappointment that have kind of pushed me over the edge. But let's talk about it. This is episode 619. Let's see. Thursday Night Football against LAC.
That's right.
Which is weird to call them the Los Angeles Chargers still, but here we are. Yeah.
I still want to say like Oakland Raiders and all that.
Same. But before we get going, man, what's going on? How are you tonight? I don't want to jump just into doom and gloom immediately. Let's chit chat a little bit.
I have been watching a lot of movies lately, and I've got my quota hit for the month, so I don't got to do a lot more at work unless I want to. But with everything going on, all the weird news that's been popping out, I'm kind of interested to see how this is all going to shake out.
Okay, nice. I haven't clicked on any of your articles.
Oh, for a second there, I thought Kathy had a Packers logo as her picture, and I was going to say, oh no.
I'm gonna pull up the Viking Age and click on your articles like I always do, especially during the show. Adam does great work over there, so you should check him out. You should support him if you click on one of those articles that he's written. His numbers go up, which directly affect his paycheck. A couple seconds of your time will make his income better, so y'all should check that out. Kathy is a regular on the show. Let's see. Skull, just wanted to mention my pick for the game ball. Most unselfish Darlington I saw his ref. Protecting helmetless player of the body in Seattle game. So good. That is incredible. We love it. So there's a lot of internet lore about that particular moment saying, find you a man who protects you like this ref does, Jackson Smith and Jigma, I think it was. So that's pretty funny.
Yeah, game balls are going to be tough to come across because there weren't a lot of really great performances. I mean, Justin Jefferson hit another milestone and, some other stuff. But as a whole, looking at that game, there isn't a lot to be super excited about. I mean, you got Will Reichert doing all right. You got Max Brosmer coming in and playing okay, to close out the game.
Yeah, I think the low-hanging fruit here for game ball would be Will Reichert. I won't give it to him. Just, I love you, Will. Please keep doing your thing. That's the last thing we want to add on to this season.
That's kind of cheap for us, just giving the kicker the game ball when the team poops the bed.
I'd like to give mine to Jonathan Grenard. 6 tackles, 5 by himself, a sack, 3 tackles for loss, and then 2 quarterback hits. He's been a godsend since being on this team last season and into this year. The defense is very questionable. The presence of Andrew Van Ginkel being out is felt. But we still have a lot of good players. And
that Van Ginkel situation is really weird because I think normally they would have put him on short-term IR.
Mm-hmm.
But since they've already used, 6 of the 8 spots, I don't think they felt comfortable doing that.
Right. We don't talk about the injuries enough this season. That's a good...
But what's really weird is, okay, you got Van Ginkel, you got Darisaw both dealing with those injuries, yet they used a short-term IR spot on Tyler Batty.
I'm not sure how big of an impact he would have had, but I guess they know more than we do. That's what I always tell myself.
I get that they didn't want Batty taking up a roster spot while he was healing up, but I felt like that IR spot could have definitely been better used on a player that, had a bigger role either offensive or defensively.
Correct. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm not sure, but like I said, this is where I go a long time in saying that they know more than we do, and I'm sure there's a rhyme and reason for that. Uh, I don't know what it is,
And
but
we probably never will know.
a lot of that stuff. You're right, Adam. We probably won't ever find out, but I would love to. This is the dorky Vikings news that I want to find out. Is hey, why'd you put that player on there when Gink was out and this player?
Right, I mean, we could be sitting here talking about Adrian Peterson getting a DUI or Carson Wentz needing shoulder surgery and missing the rest of the season. But nope, we're talking about Tyler Batty.
It's hilarious. You'll find that only here on the Purple People podcast. No, we're going to talk about those other things too. You said it best, man, without me being rude and crude about it. Adrian Peterson got a DWI over the weekend. Dude, get help. Everything since you've gotten out of the league has been terrible, and a lot of things while you were in the league weren't very good. So,
And I get having bad luck or making mistakes, I get that. But when it starts happening this often, it's a problem. Big problem.
it's bad. Not only because you know what happened with his finances, which you have to feel bad for him about, because he could have been sitting on a king's fortune as his earnings, over.
But yeah,
his
he should
career.
be living comfortably.
Uh, that happening. Obviously, there was the scandal about child abuse. Then there was a scandal with his wife. Then he got into an altercation. There was a DUI before. Now there's another. Like this is not like accidental. This is now a problem. And like you said, he needs to get that figured out. So
No, I hate to get a little too personal on this because I don't like too many people knowing my stuff, but when I was younger, I had two DUIs, and that was one of the things that really caused me to turn my life around, and now I'm sober 13 years. So, I mean, you got to make those right decisions and do what's best for your life. Drinking is a lot of fun, and sure, socially it's fantastic if you can handle it. I can't.
there's no shame in that, man. It's nice for you to give everybody that detail. You didn't have to, but yeah, you're right. It comes down to a simple choice, and it's usually a very hard one. We all have our vices. Mine is food and sugar. I'm addicted to sugar, and I've had to cut that out because the alternate was death. So
So
I've
the
had to scale that
last
back.
2 weeks or so, I haven't been able to eat cheese, and I am so mad because I want cheese so bad right now.
You don't realize stuff like cheese and potatoes are everywhere, and that how difficult that would be. That's so true. You've done it though, right? You've refrained.
I have.
Nice. Well, congrats on that. I know that's tough. Obviously, I know why you're doing all that. That's amazing. But yeah, I didn't want to be too negative about that. I am going to be negative about Carson Wentz going down and tie that into my donkey for the week. Carson
Yeah,
Wentz
that whole
tore.
optic looks absolutely terrible. I
It's
can't
really
believe
bad.
they left him in that game, and now, okay, he needs shoulder surgery. So, when the team evaluated him, what made them say, okay, he's good to stay in and play? And how much does this change the way you think about like Carson Wentz and his toughness and mindset?
I have nothing but respect for him. I've never had a reason to dislike Carson Wentz. Has he made some boneheaded plays in his career? Sure. But he made it to the NFL and he guided a team to pretty much sit into cruise control and win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying that it's left or right of him being the sole reason, but when you play quarterback for a team, it's kind of freaking important. And I've seen him be damn near at the mountaintop. He's got a ring. I mean, he got a ring from that 2017 team. So
Yeah, and he has been
um,
in the discussion for MVP at some points, which is wild to think about.
correct. He had a pretty dramatic fall off, but I had this. I didn't even get into an argument. Somebody said, "Why did we trade Sam Howell?" I said, "Because he was unbelievably bad and inconsistent." And the reply was, "And Wentz was good." I said, "Yeah, if you look at the stat sheet and everything, Wentz is pretty average. Sam Howell is much worse than that."
And
And
it's so weird, like all the arguments. I know that like keeping Sam Darnold or
oh, we're going to talk about this tonight,
Kenny
dude.
Dimes or something.
Oh my
I
goodness.
get it, but now after seeing the whole Kirk Cousins thing, after him getting his start there in Atlanta this week, he is not going to get traded for anything because I don't want to say he's washed up, but he definitely looks like he is not that guy anymore.
I think you can use Kirk Cousins' best game, and I don't know which game that is. I don't know if it's the wild card against the Saints because of the stakes, or statistically one of those games where he completed like 18 passes in a row or whatever it was. Is coaching and your situation matters, and also Kirk's terrible game last night points to reps. Kirk, somebody said it this morning, I think it was maybe it was on TikTok or somewhere. I want to say it was Rich Eisen, but I can't. Yeah, it was Rich Eisen. The other bald guy on the show, I can't think of his name. Brockman, Chris Brockman. And he said, if we did a survey to say who's the best backup in the league, it would have been Kirk Cousins by a long shot. Had to have been starting the season. After last night, it looks really bad, and I'll tell you, this is why repetitions matter. Reps that you get in practice absolutely matter.
This was the best opportunity for the Pelicans to showcase him and try to raise his value as they try to trade him in that gigantic contract.
Yeah, that was really bad, but it comes down to, like, if he's not consistently on the same page and he's only getting second and third team reps, that's what a guy who was pretty average his career, a little above average, he can look like he doesn't know what he's doing, and it's
isn't
really
it crazy how, like, that weird change in quarterback play resulted in no run game and so many just major problems
against a Miami team who looked pretty lost most of the
They're a bad team.
Yeah, getting beat that bad by a bad team says a lot. So what I've learned from the season is I don't really know who's good, even the two number 1 seeds. I don't know. I guess you can finally say Indianapolis is legitimate, but
one of these days I want to sit down and just really take a close look at the Colts and see, okay, where are their actual weaknesses?
I can tell you where their strengths are because I drafted one of them.
Because off the top of my head, I can't think of a big glaring weakness.
I could ask one of my really good buddies. Funny enough, he's got a tie with our team, working at the Minneapolis airport and being a friend of mine. MC Sports, what up? What do you want to talk about? It's just Adam and I tonight. We're going over this game shortly, and right now we're going to talk about the terrible mishandling of Carson Wentz. He has a torn labrum. He is out for the season. I think the Vikings probably make a move for another quarterback at some point. I think you have to because you don't know.
I don't know if I feel comfortable with Brosmer as a backup.
Correct, and I don't know with J.J. McCarthy's injury history. I don't know that he's going to make it the rest of the year, and I hope he does.
And I'm not sure what potential veteran backups are on the market.
Yeah,
but with J.J. McCarthy's NFL injury history, you gotta have something.
I feel like it's probably Anthony Richardson time or somebody like Zach Wilson. Somebody like that will probably come to the team. Probably not even those big names.
Try to trade for someone, but it might just be a free agent. But I haven't taken a good, long, close look at what's out there.
Yeah, with Carson Wentz being out now, they've got to. I would think that they'd address this ahead of the deadline, which I believe is November 22nd. They're probably going to have to at least shop around. If they only go into it with Brosmer and McCarthy, that is a ballsy move.
Very.
They need They need help at corner. They need help in other places as well. But I think that's a glaring need now. And that leads me into my donkey. Kevin O'Connell is pissing me off this year. And it was going to be just for the 11 rushing attempts by itself, which we can talk about. But leaving Carson Wentz in that game, he tore his shoulder up in London. We've known that. It's been week to week. But he's gritted it out. But you could see him Wentzing in pain the whole game, getting his ass kicked. And I don't know how you make the choice as the head coach to put him in there, but Kevin O'Connell should feel some shame about that.
That decision to keep Wentz in there looks really, really bad right now.
It's bad. They had 8 quarterback hits and 5 sacks on him. So that's 13 different times they were right up in his face or actually touching him. So,
and every time Wentz hit the ground, you could tell it hurt bad.
It was bad. He had a QBR of 27.3 for this game. That's almost.
It would be easy to throw a donkey at him, but honestly,
I'm not throwing it at Wentz. Absolutely not.
I don't know what else he really could have done in that situation.
It's Kevin O'Connell all the way. Xavier Scott had 2 carries, Aaron Jones had 5, and Jordan Mason had 4. The lack of running the ball here is absolutely glaring. It's not a talking point anymore. This is like a pound the table. If I'm Brian Flores, I'm saying, hey, bro, I know I'm your lieutenant for this team. You know that I've had head coaching experience. You need to get your shit together and run the ball. This is not helping anyone. And look, I understand this might not be your favorite thing to do. We know he likes to do these long developing plays and these intricate things. You don't have a quarterback capable of doing that because your line is beat up. This is the point where we have to shift the identity of the team mid-season and say, hey, look, this is what's best for the team now. And especially for J.J. McCarthy. Did it at any point outside of about 8 minutes of this season look like he can wait 5 to 7 seconds for a play to develop.
And I got a weird question. How did it take a season and 4 or 5 weeks for the Vikings to come out and say, "Oh, right now we don't like what JJ McCarthy's doing with his footwork"? What? That's something that should have been worked on this whole time.
Right. And I know I said that a couple of shows ago, and I don't want to be walking around like, "Oh, I told you so." What I want to be doing is saying, "Wow, we drafted the greatest quarterback in the history of the franchise." I truly want that. Still, the jury will be out because it's too early to tell. But as of this right now, I'm going to tell you what, Adam. I'm starting to believe that conspiracy that they were holding J.J. McCarthy out as long as they could because they don't like what they see versus an ankle injury. Because when you trot Carson Wentz out there and do that to him, how am I not supposed to believe that? Any
But
other
also,
coach would have pulled him out immediately.
okay, if JJ McCarthy isn't ready now, imagine if Minnesota would have thrown him to the Wolves last season.
Oh, it would have been really bad. Oh, it would have been so bad. But at least you'd have your answer. I mean, if he's going to be bad, he's going to be bad anyway.
At this point, you do have to play McCarthy, whether you like it or really not, just to see what he is.
And he has mine and yours and Kyle West's full support, along with all of the fans.
And that absolutely stinks because we got Justin Jefferson in his prime right now. We have a lot of talented rosters. Disappointing roster, of course, but
this is
talent.
This is bad coaching right now, is what it is. And I hate to say it because how you go from coach of the year to this is it. But they all around, it's injuries and bad coaching. And I don't like it. And this brings me to that point that you were saying earlier. I don't want to hear anyone out there, because I have the receipts, about saying we should have kept Sam Darnold. None of you, including me at the front of the line, wanted Sam Darnold after that Rams wildcard game. None of you did. You said he crumbles when it matters the most. He's a great regular season quarterback. We unlocked that. But in the 4 games against great competition, he crumbled. You didn't want Sam Darnold back. The Vikings made an offer. They made a 1-year offer. And Sam's like, "But I want you to commit long term." But they're like, "Well, we kind of drafted this kid. We got to play him." And he was like, "No, I'm good."
Right.
Daniel Jones, we made an offer to him, and he said, "I'll take my chances and bet on myself because I'm not going to say it out loud, but I don't think Anthony Richardson will stay healthy." And obviously he likes the coach and the personnel there. Don't get me started on 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers. If you think he would look like he looks in Pittsburgh in Minnesota right now, you're high.
But speaking of Daniel Jones, do you see the Colts are already talking about trying to lock him down on a long-term deal?
Do it. Absolutely do it. If you think that's your dude, I don't care what the critics say. I don't care about his past. If you think that's your guy, you pay him as soon as effing possible. That's what you do. You have to. Quarterbacks are a dime a dozen in this league. There's 32 of them that start every week, and there's about 10 to 12 of them that are like, we have hope. And now that hope can be very rangy as far as
and when you get to the low end of that hope spectrum, you get to players like, I hate to say his name because I do think he's talented and athletic, but Kyler Murray's got to be close to the end of his rope.
Yeah, Kyle and I talked about that. Next year, it's going to be the Anthony Richardson or Kyler Murray show in purple. What do you think? What do you feel about that?
I don't like it, but, I guess
it's not out of the realm of possibility. They got to figure something out at quarterback. I don't know what their issue is, but that's a lot of speculating. Talking about the here and now, I'm absolutely devastated and disappointed for Carson Wentz. I am pissed off at Kevin O'Connell beyond all measure because this is like year 3 in a row where we're talking about the run game not being what it should be. Now, we did have a 1,000-yard rusher last season, but if you look at the percentage across the board and you get into the nitty-gritty analytics, we're like bottom 5 in the league at rushing attempts. And that if you're bottom 5 in attempts, that means you're bottom 5 in yards, touchdowns, all those things. This guy is kind of living and dying by his sword, which brings me to my first point of the show that I want to talk about. I think it's time for Kevin O'Connell to get a good OC in there if he doesn't trust Wes Phillips, and they need to start calling the plays because this is not working out the way we want it to.
And while we're talking about play calling and coordinators and stuff, how do you feel about Brian Flores right now? It feels like he's kind of losing his mojo a little bit. I don't know if it's scheme or personnel or what it is, but Minnesota's been close to the top the last couple of seasons in sacks and hits and pressures, and I don't know where they are this year, but it certainly doesn't feel like they're up there.
I think they're slightly, not a lot. I'm not bagging on these players too much because they're still good. I think they're slightly regretting Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen. I had heard from a Washington fan at work that they're like, I can't believe y'all paid him that much money. Same thing I heard about Ryan Kelly, but I was like, no, he'll be fine. He's like dead somewhere right now. He's not coming back to play. I think he's probably done playing football, which really sucks.
And then you got
But
guys like, Redmond stepping up and, he's relegated to a backup position when he
he might
has an
should be
argument
starting.
to be a starter.
At this point, why not? I don't know what the extension will be for. I don't mean extension like player. I don't know what maybe I do mean it that way. I don't know what the deal would be in the contract situation for Hargrave and Allen. But if you have somebody that's clearly like, if they do it for quarterbacks in the history of NFL, why wouldn't you do that for a defensive tackle? I don't understand that. Like Russell Wilson got drafted right after Matt Flynn got that contract, and they were clearly like, no, he's better. We're playing him. So I don't know. You have to iron out the details. It's
I just looked
frustrating.
insane making that face because my cat is not showing up on the camera here.
We promise there's a Bernie there. NC Sports makes a great point here. I think other teams have adjusted to Flores' defense. I do too. See, here's the thing. I'm gonna put my king crown on for just a second because I think I'm funny, but I'm actually proud of myself. When I did fantasy football years and years past, I was trying to not only adapt what players I thought were a valuable pick at that point, who might be a breakout star. I was trying to literally play GM a little bit. But this year when it came back around, I went running back heavy. I was 8th out of 10 people. My first pick, Christian McCaffrey, was sitting there. I said, I'm going to go all in. This is the ballsiest risk I'm going to take all year. So right now it looks great.
I got him at 10.
I got him at 8, and then so that's 8. We have 9, 10, 10, 9, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. At pick 13, I got Jonathan Taylor.
At 11, I took Derrick Henry, which wasn't bad.
He is murdering for me this year. And then I was like, man, I could go wide receiver heavy here, but I don't like it. I'm not taking a tight end this early unless it's the kid from Vegas or Indy, which I was close to it. You know who I took for my 3rd pick overall? James Cook.
There you go.
And the reason I took 3 running backs in a row is if you look at the last few years, the running back position has been more valued and swinging back around. The NFL works in trends. And then lo and behold, if you look at the passing numbers, the only one that has gaudy passing numbers right now is ironically the quarterback we just played. Justin Herbert's slinging it everywhere. Dak Prescott's slinging it everywhere. But a lot of these quarterbacks are only having 180 to 200-yard games now. So
yeah, it's really weird seeing that after years in the league where 300 yards was pretty common.
right.
Now it feels pretty uncommon, which is odd because there haven't
Weird.
been like rules that help the defense or anything like that. So it's strange.
Well, if we think about how the NFL has adapted over the years, remember back in the day, obviously the athletes weren't as fast as they are now, probably not as strong as these guys are now. But a lot of these guys have leaned out over the years, everywhere. And now, how do you stop a really fast, lean person? Well, you get beefier guys to get in front and push them around. It's going to swing back and forth like this for the rest of time. The NFL is going to change. Like, well, I don't know who, maybe the Eagles or this. I don't know if it's them or the Colts or the Lions. But, like, I'm just going to get the biggest humans I possibly can on the offensive line, and then I'll just push you around. I don't care that you have X, Y, and Z player that's super fast that can rush around the corner. I have a guy that's the size of a Subaru over here. You know what I mean? Like,
Do you ever
that'll
go
work.
back and like watch some of the classic football games like on YouTube or something like that?
I haven't, but I should.
Because you'll go and you'll watch that and there'll be like guards that are 370 pounds in there, just
Shit.
these big old guys on the line. And these days, a guard is what, like 320 maybe?
Yeah. And then you've got guys like me who I'm 6 foot, like 215, 210, and I'm like, I'm not a big dude. Maybe I'm bigger than the average in America, but I'm not a big guy. And we complained on this show for years, like Garrett Bradbury always looks like undersized when we see like Dexter Lawrence next to him. And then I meet him in person, I'm like, oh, you're a lot bigger than I thought. That's crazy, you know?
To be
So-
fair, most centers probably look a little small next to guys like Vita Vea or someone like that.
I think that was him too. Shout out to him wearing a shirt. God, did we send it the other day? I sent it in the podcast. I think I did. Where is this shirt? I'm sorry. I'm going to turn my brightness down. It's stupid, but it made me laugh. Wearing a Baker Mayfield shirt. Yeah, it's got to be Vita. It looks like him. God forbid a white boy get a little motion. Baker Mayfield is such a vibe, man. I love that guy. He's so funny. I'm glad to see they're having success.
It took me a while to come around to him, but I think I like him.
I like him because I think he's what Johnny Manziel wanted to be talent-wise. He's definitely
Speaking of
got
Johnny
the arrogance.
Manziel, did you watch him on that Armed Forces show?
No, I didn't know he did it as well. That's cool.
Yeah, he's on the most recent season.
I remember Cam Newton doing it, and I remember after meeting Cam Newton in person several times.
And you get a really interesting look at Johnny Manziel, and they kind of chip into him a little bit. If you really are into him or interested in his story, it's worth checking out.
I'll have to look that up, see if they have it on the old YouTube. That's cool. Good suggestion.
I believe it's on Hulu if you don't.
Okay. Sorry, Andrew, I've had your comment up here for like 5 minutes. I don't know why we can't install a short yardage passing game with our O-line being Swiss cheese. Well, this would be the formula if you were an adaptable coach that J.J. McCarthy should be pretty familiar with and safe with. I don't understand that either. I'm not saying this to poo-poo on J.J. McCarthy. I'm saying this as, okay, it's your first year starting in the NFL. Where did you come from? What works for you? What were you good at? So maybe I can adjust slightly to my player. Oh, at Michigan, they ran the ball a lot, and then some short yardage stuff like you're talking about, like run the shit out of the ball, get the ball out quickly. That sounds like a great idea. Can you phone up to Minnesota and see if they'll answer?
These longer developing plays on third and short and stuff like that, no.
It's not happening. And you know what? There are other ways to make this work for players like Addison and Jefferson. You just have to commit to it.
And teams are not surprised at all when Minnesota passes on third and short anymore. They are ready.
It's frustrating. Hopefully they do some soul searching. I did like what Kevin O'Connell said in the press conference. He said, we're not going to shy away from this film. We're going to watch it and own it. And I appreciate that. He's my guy, 100%. I think they made the right choice getting him as a coach. But that does not come without inconsistencies and improvements. And unfortunately, it reared its ugly head because I'll tell you what, my brother being a Chargers fan and Adam's like my favorite hater of Justin Herbert in the world. I didn't think the Vikings were going to win this game. I thought it would be like a 21-20 kind of like close one because they're severely injured as well. They beat the dog shit out of the Vikings, and it was bad.
But something kind of crazy to think about?
What's that?
If not for that interception that was called off and the pick six, that game was winnable.
You know what? Same thing for the Eagles game. If Carson Wentz doesn't throw a pick six and they win that game,
it's wild to sit back and look at all this stuff and be like, oh.
You know what this is now?
Yeah, that was terrible, but when you kind of dissect it a little bit, you're like, maybe it wasn't as bad as my head makes me think it is.
It's not. We've heard this a million times on a million shows, but football games usually come down to about 3 or 4 plays.
Yeah.
And I think we're getting our karma back, or maybe it's just swinging full circle. You remember the last good season with Kirk, the year before, was it 2022? With the Buffalo catch and all the one score of the Indianapolis game. We're getting the complete opposite of that this year. So that's fun. That's fun to sit through. Oh,
that's true. Sometimes the ball bounces your way and sometimes it don't. And
I feel like when it bounces your way,
players.
Remember with that saying too, like when it bounces your way, it happens a lot in the same season.
Right.
Like we can't argue this. This is just a fact. I understand Andy Reid is a Hall of Fame coach.
Oh, I was going to make a joke about all the memes about the ball and the refs and everything going Kansas City's way.
Well, funny you mention it because we're on the same page. I'm not disputing Patrick Mahomes has probably cemented himself on the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks now. If not, he's knocking on the door.
Right.
But Andy Reid is a Hall of Fame coach. He might be top 5 all time.
And I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to have any problem at all getting in the Hall of Fame when it's
he could go right now. If he retired tomorrow, I firmly believe you throw him in the Hall of Fame. And I'm not saying that they're not talented and they don't deserve their success, but I'm not saying that I don't believe that some of the times the refs have swung in their favor, which is very frustrating. But, yeah.
But it's also kind of weird to take a look at some of those situations like, New England, you got everybody was like, oh, Brady and Belichick, the winning combination. Brady moves on, successful. Belichick moves on, not as much.
Yeah. It's interesting to see. I've always wished we could do an alternate universe where we take these players and put Patrick Mahomes. He originally was going to go to New Orleans. I don't think Sean Payton leaves if he gets Patrick Mahomes. I don't think that looks anything like it does now. What if he wasn't and he what if we knew what we knew now and that going into that draft and you thought, man, this is what could be with the first overall pick, the Carolina Panthers take? Do you think he looks the same in Carolina? I sure don't.
So my question for you right now is, are the Minnesota Vikings in a worse quarterback position than the New Orleans Saints?
No. I don't think so. I think when you say worse, that means they're clearly better. Are we worlds apart from them and better than them? Absolutely not. But Spencer
the
Rattler
situations are very different, but
correct.
They are not in a good spot right now.
They're not in a good spot, but I do see the upside for a guy like Tyler Shuck who's played a ton of football. I just don't think the roster is very good. Even with guys like Shaheed and Olave at receiver, and then I don't even put Alvin Kamara in that mix anymore. Alvin Kamara is old. I mean, he's a good player, but running back wise, he's old. So
I just still remember that. What was it? Christmas game against Minnesota where he ran in 5?
Can I be really, really dark on the show real quick? That was the game right before my mother died, and I made the worst joke ever. I was like, can we not do this while my mother's dying of cancer?
No.
Sure enough, he had 5 rushing touchdowns. I thought about that the other day. I was like, remember that time Alvin Kamara absolutely bent us over the table? I do. Oh, that's crazy.
It's not that much different from what Jahmyr Gibbs did to the Vikings last time they met.
Good segue to talk about this game coming up. The Vikings haven't won at Ford Field in almost 4 years. They got to figure that out.
McCarthy getting a start in Michigan is going to be kind of fun, though. I'm not quite sure how that crowd is going to treat him through the whole game, but I don't think he's going to get booed or anything like that. It should be pretty warm and welcome, I think.
I would think that, but I think they're going to boo him. I think they're going to be like, hey, you play for another team, not named the Lions? Fuck you, man. Who knows? A Michigan kid brought them a title. That's pretty cool. I'm trying to find your articles on here. There we go. Boom. I'm going to click around on some of your articles from the Viking Age.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Of course.
I touched a little bit on Dan Orlovsky and his disappointing roster.
Yeah, Dan Orlovsky says the Vikings might have the most disappointing roster in the NFL right now, and it's kind of hard to argue with that. And that's the thing. We've been talking about it on the show. The Vikings are only 3-4. We've seen a team with a worse record than this not too long ago, actually. And it's not that we think the wheels are falling off. It's just we've seen with a little bit of change from last year, we've seen this work very well, and now that it's not, we're kind of panicking because we're like, hey, this was supposed to be like pretty seamless. It wasn't supposed to be this bad, and like I don't understand it. I do think we have to address it. I don't think it's one major thing. I know the quarterback play has been underwhelming overall. That's fine, but I think the injuries are number one. I'm going to blame the GM a little bit because I think this roster is very top-heavy. I don't think the depth is very good. And
there's a lot of players making a lot of money right now that I'm not sure are, I'm not going to say worthy of their contracts, but they're not living up to it.
Yeah, for the value, they're not playing up to their value and their worth of, the cap hit, I'll say. And that's a good point to bring up, too, because before the deadline rolls around, there's going to be a lot of talk about possibly trading players. Do you entertain a Jordan Addison trade? I don't think I would at this point in time, but I think that's the number one player that would get you the most assets. TJ
Well, I might if I thought Ty Felton was in any position to be a contributor back there, but
he can't be worse than Thielen.
I don't know.
He can't be worse than Adam Thielen. That trade looks terrible right now.
Real bad.
It's terrible. I was so mad.
Panic trade right there. Panic, pure panic.
For sure. And you thought if the line was going to hold up, you were going to load up for J.J. McCarthy and it was going to be great. But two of the crucial positions that you need on the line that we traded for haven't been great. So, or I shouldn't say traded for, signed in the offseason. My bad. I'll tell you what, after the game the other night, I said the unspeakable thing you don't ever say. I did. I'm going to say it on the show because I want people to watch, and I want you, if you're listening, to hate me forever. But I messaged Kyle West on the side, and I said, it's time to trade Justin Jefferson. You're wasting this man's prime, and you could at least get 2 first-round picks out of it. And for about 24 hours, I was actually, hey, I'd do it. I don't know that any team would right at the moment. They would take phone calls on him for sure. But I don't know if I feel the same way today. But I said it earlier in the season, man. I was like, how many more years is he going to put up with this? Because he's going to want to get a championship at least. He's going to want to win a playoff game. He hasn't done that since he's been a Viking.
So is Justin Jefferson quarterback proof?
He has to be. That record he broke the other day kind of proves it, right? I don't know, maybe. I feel like he is.
Because I feel like he's been solid no matter who really was behind center for Minnesota, and that's not easy to do as a wide receiver, is to be able to catch passes and be effective and contribute when you have I won't say a revolving door of quarterbacks, but a significant number of different quarterbacks in this period of time.
Outside of Kirk Cousins, he hasn't had a stable rotation of quarterbacks. And I understand he had what? He came in 2020. So you have 2020, 2021, 2 disappointing years. Mike Zimmer gets on the way out. 2022, Kevin O'Connell comes in. You have that crazy, 1-score win season everywhere and lose to the Giants. Kirk goes down the next year. You have last year. So he's entering year 6. He's only about halfway through year 6. He's already hit 8,000 yards, which is bananas. And you'd like to think that if you had a guy who's consistently there every week, he probably would have closer to 9,000 yards at this point because consistency. He also missed half a season due to a hamstring, so we got to point that in there. So really, he's only played 5 full seasons now.
Right.
Yeah, I was pretty doom and gloom the other day. It was kind of embarrassing, and I was really pissed because I only watched probably 5 minutes of this game. To be honest, I was driving, and when I watched the replay, I was even more mad because I was like, "Why is Carson Wentz dying on the field right now? Did we piss off like a gypsy somewhere, and we have a sacrificial lamb we have to put in?" But yeah, there's been a lot of trade talk, especially about T.J. Hawkinson as well. Kyle and I both are on the train of he has not lived up to what his paycheck is. And I think the drop-off from him to Oliver is significant, but is it really that bad? I don't know. I think Detroit got the better of us in that trade, and he hasn't really looked the same since that knee injury. Unfortunately, I'm not going to blame him for the injury, but Jordan Addison and T.J. Hawkinson seem to be the 2 names that I've seen consistently pop up about trade talks. I'm curious if anyone that's listening now would be cool with either one of those guys leaving. Obviously, you're going to tell me to go F myself about trading Justin Jefferson. I realize that. But I don't know what the answer is. I know one thing, Adam. It doesn't matter who we trade. I don't think this team is going to get better from it. This team right now, I don't think anybody gets better from it. But
we were talking about this Vikings team as we were heading into the season about being a possible fringe wild card playoff team, and I don't even have those thoughts in my head anymore.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think this is a top 10 draft pick team all day long, and I wish that it wasn't, but I don't see it. I don't see another way around it. I think they're going to compete in some games. They might squeak out a win here or there, but it hasn't looked good so far. I think the only good game we've had, honestly, this year was against, Cincinnati, and a lot of that was the defense. The offense was just kind of, yeah, we're all right. Yeah, we're here. But yeah, like when the teacher calls roll in class, like Kyle, oh yeah, I'm present. I'm here. There's been nothing offensively that's really stood out besides that, the Bengals game, which, like I said, was a lot of the defense. Was it 2 or 3
And I feel like
scores?
that ineffective offense is one great reason why a lot of fans seem kind of checked out this year.
Right.
The passion, the excitement just isn't there. And I want it to be there, but it's not.
It's hard to get excited about that. It's been really ugly. Like you said earlier about the passing on third and whatever, it's kind of become predictable. If you and I are noticing that, defensive coordinators and defensive units are noticing that. So, when you kind of are pre-exposed and known to be like, hey, this is going to be ugly, it's kind of hard to get excited about that. But
and when you're going multiple games where you're only converting about 20% of your third downs, you got to do something.
Rough. And it's not like this. Let me put this out there too. I'm not going to ride the excuse train about injuries, but I will say I think that's the number one Achilles heel of this team, and then it's very close percentages for whatever the reason to blame is after that. But it's not like the NFL hasn't seen injuries this season. Joe Burrow's out. Cam Scatterbo had a terrible leg injury. Malik Neighbors had a terrible leg injury. Lamar Jackson's been banged up for a few weeks. I mean, there's good players out there that are hurt. So It's not just this team. You have to figure it out.
Is Kevin O'Connell kind of stubborn in that same way that Mike Zimmer was, where he knows what he wants to do and he knows how to execute it, and he expects his players to do it, and if they don't, he kind of maybe blames them a little bit more than the scheme or the idea, and he's unwilling to make those adjustments to make things easier on the players? Is that what's going on?
It feels like it. That's actually a really good point. Obviously, it's a different vessel and it's a different look and feel than the last regime, but it's kind of the same process. Yeah, it certainly.
I mean, the only benefit right now is that the GM and the head coach aren't fighting each other.
Yeah, they are simpatico. Let's get that one out. They are definitely on the same page and work well together, but I don't know. I think both of them need help. I don't know what that help is, but I think they both need a little more assistance. I don't know what the deal is with Brian Flores and the defense. I think somebody said in the comments earlier that he's kind of been figured out. I would think that he's going to stay because nobody's really given him a look for a head coaching gig.
And he's not putting a whole lot on tape this season to increase his value.
I mean, I want him to stay. I think he's fantastic at his job.
For sure.
And even if you remember that, what is it, 2 years ago? Yeah, the Kirk Achilles year. They started out really bad on defense for about 3 or 4 games. They absolutely murdered it for like 10 games in a row, and then the last 3 or 4 games, they were really bad. You kind of got the same feel to it because the season's not really going well. It feels like when the offense is humming, the defense is humming too. I don't know. I hope that he's not going to leave, but that's another thing that's going to be really bad. Even if they go out and draft, like, let's say they take the Kyle Smith approach to next season and it just works out and I'm a genius, right? Let's say the first round they take a center. Let's say the second round they take a right guard. And then they get a running back in round 3, and they're like, hey, we're sticking with the line. We're going to make things good for the quarterback, and we're going to do this. Even if they do that and all these players turn out great, if Brian Flores leaves next year, I think this defense is very bad. It's going to be bad. Kyle West is not here, but I'm going to steal one of his points. Shout out to Kyle. He wants to go back to a 4-3, and I'm kind of there for it, man. I kind of wish it was there.
The Vikings really rolled the dice this season with their offensive line depth because they really didn't have much at all. Yep. And then when things started falling apart, that gamble really didn't pay off. And they shipped out all the former starters to give them opportunities elsewhere. But, man, I still can't believe they went into the season with so little depth.
At these games that we're having right now in this depth between center and guards, we're having trouble. I sure do look. It's like that Wolverine picture where you start petting. I'm like petting a picture of Joe Berger.
Oh, I hear you.
Can you come back for a season? Oh, I didn't know I was going to bring up that guy today. Shout out Joe Berger. He was a great Viking.
Big fan. He actually went to Michigan Tech, which is like about 30 minutes from me, so not bad.
Nice. You mentioned, I'm going to roll through the stats in this game real quick, and then we're going to preview the Detroit game. Carson Wentz died on the field, quarterback rating of 27.3. Shout out to you, brother. We appreciate you coming in and giving it your all. I wish that you were represented in a better way, and I wish the team would have given you a better line to stand behind. But that is the name of the game, unfortunately. 11 rushing attempts is absolutely not acceptable. Not acceptable. I don't appreciate that at all. That's terrible.
And if they expect J.J. McCarthy to come in and be that quarterback to throw the ball that often, that is not what you want from him.
That's not a recipe for success. Justin Jefferson led the way, 7 for 74. Jordan Addison, 3 for 26. Only 157 receiving yards, so not a lot there, but Justin Jefferson does Justin Jefferson things, of course. One fumble by Carson Wentz. He did recover it. The defense had some decent moments. There were 2 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, which is great, 8 quarterback hits, and 2 passes defended. Josh Metellus got an interception. Miles Price, 5 for 135, and kick returns. There were no punt returns.
Was the most frustrating part of this game watching Justin Herbert get those scrambles?
I didn't see a lot of that. Let me look at the rushing here. 7 for 62 yards. Good God.
Right?
He's a big boy, too. He is athletic, though. I do like his build a lot. That's why I always refer to him.
They were so worried about coverage that they were giving him way too much space. Way too much.
Man, you can't give a guy like that in his prime running lanes, especially one that's like 6'6". He'll start Josh Allen you and hurdling people. That's crazy. Man, good point. Will Reichard 1 for 2 on field goals, and then 1 for 1 on extra points because they
How
only
many
scored
rushing yards did they have in that game, the Chargers?
207
Whew!
by a guy named Kamani Vidal who had 117. That's right. The Chargers were on running back number 3. And he had 117 yards and a score. Average 5.1. So, cool. Love that.
And they're dealing with their offensive line injuries and stuff like that of their own.
They're banged up, man. They're banged up too.
They're making it work.
That's what I always felt bad for, man. Like, joking aside, Adam always loves to give Justin Herbert shit. Every year I feel like he's fighting for his damn life on that team because either all of his wide receivers are hurt or half of his O-line is banged up. And that's how it is this year. His all-star tackle went down, and they had to move right tackle to left tackle. Then the left-right tackle got hurt. He's dealing with it too. And
I think it does say a lot for him as a quarterback that Keenan Allen can go to Chicago and do pretty much nothing and come back and be a guy again.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, that's funny. I was looking for Detroit, but I think they're on a bye. Yeah, they're on a bye week this week. I was going to preview that and talk about them a little bit. Yeah, they're on running back number 3 as well. So both of their running backs are done. And they drafted a stud running back this year. I was hoping to see more from him, but he'll be on IR for a little while. Ladidi McConkey. Lab McConkey, 6 for 88 for them. Keenan Allen only had 44 yards, which is really weird. He usually torches the Vikings, but that's about all I want to talk about for this game. They are at Detroit. According to ESPN's matchup predictor, Detroit has a 70.9% chance to win.
So is Detroit just going to target Jeff Okudah all game?
Oh, he's been so bad. I think I saw a stat yesterday that said he is the second worst rated corner in all of football.
Whew.
That's bad. Because I tried to break that down for my dad this weekend. Being back at home, he's like, how bad is he? I was like, well, there's always going to be 2 corners on the field, sometimes 3, depending on the package, sometimes 4. I'll say 2 just to round it down and make it less. Out of 64 corners on any given Sunday, he's like 63rd. And he's like, oh my God. That's who they're trotting out there. So, I don't know. That'd probably be the game plan. I mean, I think Detroit's going to have their way. They might put up a 50-burger on this team. So,
and I would love to sit here and say, Minnesota's going to be competitive. They're going to go in there and they're going to have a game plan.
I don't think
After
so.
seeing what they were game planning for when they had the long week to prepare for the Chargers, when they had the time to prepare for the Chargers, I'm not sure I want to see what they're preparing for Detroit at all.
I don't like it.
Because I do know that, they did have a short week for the Chargers, but whatever game plan they put together just was ineffective totally.
Hopefully, like I said, Kevin O'Connell said in his post-game presser, they're not going to run away from this tape. They're going to own it. They're going to be better. I do think they could have a get-right game here soon, but this was supposed to be the easy, quote, part of the schedule up until the bye. So let's go ahead and look at the Vikings schedule.
Well, after Detroit, they've got Lamar Jackson should be back for the Ravens, and that's not good.
So here are the next next handful of games coming up. This Sunday in Detroit. Next Sunday, home versus the Ravens. Like you said, Lamar Jackson should be back. The Bears are beatable, and that is a home game, so that's fun. At Green Bay, at Seattle. Woof. Don't like those. The Commanders will probably have Jaden Daniels back, but they are worse than us in the NFC rankings right now, so we'll see. At the Cowboys, they have an offensive firepower team. Their defense sucks, so that'll be a weird game. At the Giants, I weirdly think the Giants are going to have their way with this team. And then you finish at home against the Lions, at home against the Packers. So, Lions, Ravens, Packers, Seahawks, Cowboys, Giants, Lions, Packers. I'm going to look at it right now on paper, and maybe I see 3 more wins.
And, people can laugh and be like, oh, you're worried about the Giants? It's like, Have you
Yeah,
looked at their defensive line and their pass
yeah,
rush?
yeah. I am worried about the Giants because I don't trust this team. I don't trust this team at all, and I wish that I did. I don't understand how JJ McCarthy is going to survive with the offensive line being
Oh
like
yeah, if
a
you're laying some bets, you should probably put the over on both Sonic and Knuckles.
Chargers running back again. I don't want to think about Gibbs and Montgomery. Yeah, it's pissing me off, man. I'm just like the Vikings with this fantasy team of mine. All my bench players are trash. T.J. Hawkinson's terrible. Jameson Williams, he got me a big zero burger last time he played. Quentin Johnson's not good. Matt Stafford is usually my guy, but he was on a bye. The
My
Steelers
wide receivers are
defense.
so dinged up right now that I had to start a tight end in my flex.
Oof,
I mean, it was Tucker Kraft, but
not bad, but you can't do it every week. Yeah, I understand. I have Brock Bowers on my bench because he's hurt, and then I have the Steelers defense. If I had played the Steelers defense yesterday and not the Colts, they would have gotten me -8 points. That's the highest paid defense in the league, by the way.
what did you do to celebrate National Tight Ends Day?
I drove back home and I didn't crash my car, even
There you
though
go.
I thought about it because the Vikings make me sad. No, I'm
Oh,
kidding.
no.
No, I drove. I was trying to listen to a couple of games. I'm going to put this out there just because I can. Don't pay for an NFL Sunday ticket. It's not worth it. If you're in the area, like I started out driving from Charlotte and the Bills were in town. Really wanted to go to that game, but, dogs and schedules and stuff. But because I'm in the area, it's blacked out. But by the time I got to the Virginia state line, I could watch the game, and it was already a blowout at that point. I hate that so much. You can't watch any of the primetime games because Amazon, ESPN, all those people have it. So you have your pick of about 50% of the games, and they're all the early windows. You can't do Thursday night because that's Amazon. Can't do Monday night. Can't do Sunday night. So you're limited on whatever. And then some of the 4:30 games you can't watch.
And no holiday games either, right?
Well, I'll find out soon enough. I'll tell you. But NFL Sunday Ticket is an absolute ripoff, man. I'm so frustrated with that. This will be the last time they get my money. I'm not doing that. And I got it at a discount. That's the only reason I paid for it this year is they gave a good discount for military and veterans and law enforcement and all that. And I was like, oh, cool. It's at a discounted rate. Nope.
So I'm going to give a little disclaimer to people that aren't going to hear this until they already know, but I'm going to say it anyway. We're going to be a little late uploading the show or trying to figure out how to do it before too long because I'm going to be out of town here until maybe Friday after tonight. So I don't know if we're going to get the show up on Friday for regular podcast listening, but if you listen on YouTube or wherever, it's going to be there, and that's fine. That's why we always recommend Facebook or YouTube or whatever, but if you listen somewhere else, you might be a little later listening to this one.
Yeah, we're going to pimp out the YouTube page. Follow us on YouTube at Purple People Podcast. That's the fastest and most convenient way you'll have access to us all the time. Sometimes we get notifications that Facebook likes to delete our stuff because of the intro song, which is really weird because it's provided by this freaking system that we use. Adam does a great job of uploading for Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whatever you listen to. But
I do have a question though. I've
Yeah.
never paid attention on YouTube or Facebook Live. Do ads run on either of those while we're live?
Oh, while we're live, I'm not sure. We will never know because we're doing the show.
Because I'm not sure, to be honest. If you guys are watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, let us know if they run ads because I couldn't tell you.
I don't think we're popular enough for them to do that. I know on the bigger shows they do, but hopefully with our cool, tight-knit group. We've got 10 people watching right now. I don't know what you guys want to talk about, but I would like to keep the show going slightly longer. So what's on all of your minds right now? What is the current state of the union with the Vikings?
And people are leaving because you mentioned that we had 10.
I know.
But I've been on a horror movie kick, and last night I watched 2 movies that I actually enjoyed both of them for very different reasons. First, I watched Good Boy, which was a lot of fun. It's a movie about it's a horror movie from a dog's point of view, and I really liked it.
Really? Okay, good. I was hoping to hear
It's a bit slower and really quiet, so if you're watching somewhere where it's noisy, you're not going to get a lot out of it. Just make sure your house is nice and quiet when you're listening, because the little sound cues are going to be great for you.
Oh, you can run an ad from Papillion Pearl. We can run that god awful PayPal ad with Will Ferrell and that kid on the plane. I've heard that about 7 million times on the Rich Eisen channel, and I want
Do
to
you
throw
still
my
hate
phone
that
out.
Meghan Trainor ad?
I do. I don't understand the purpose of why she's there, and I don't like that she plays like a caricature of herself. It's not. I don't hate her personally. I'm just saying. I'm just thinking like they really did go. They're so lazy with these commercial writings now. They're like, trainer. What do we do with trainer? And somebody's like, Megan Trainer, and then they're like, call her up. It's so
That might not be that
weird.
far from what happened.
I guarantee you it was something like that. I don't know what the heck's going on.
And then the second movie I watched last night was Bone Lake.
How's that?
I went into it expecting it to be absolute trash, and do you know what?
You
I
liked
liked
it?
it.
I love the fact that they put the R rating beside of it everywhere, or maybe somebody else did, and it looked like Boner Lake for so long.
And what's funny is that if you watch the movie, it's appropriate.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I kind of figured that with the poster that I saw. Let's see, Papillion Butterfly in French, my business. At this point, as long as McCarthy's playing, I'm fine. Whatever record we end up with, I just want to see what he can do. Yeah, I'm kind of there with you, Wes. We just need to see what it is. I kind of have a feeling we know what it's going to be, but it's also not fair because he's been injured and this line is not very good. But
I mean, we have seen J.J. McCarthy play well. We've seen it.
yeah, it's not a
And
large.
we've seen J.J. McCarthy not play well.
It's not been a large percent of the time, but he has figured it out at some point for a few sequences. So it sucks because he's not going to get the best shot. The best way you should honestly judge someone is when everybody's at their peak. If you have no injuries, but we can't cast the magic wand and make the injuries go away. So he's going to have an uphill battle. But I'm with you, Wes, 100%. He's got to figure it out.
And while we're talking about that, Minnesota, as I've already said, they're at the bottom of the NFC North. And the Bears got a big win, didn't they? I think.
Yesterday
Yeah, they won, didn't they?
they lost to the Ravens.
But they're still, like one full game ahead of Minnesota, right?
Yeah, we're still at the bottom of the division, which I did not predict happening.
So do you think there's any chance Minnesota climbs that back up there a little bit, or do you
No.
think that Chicago's going to stay ahead of Minnesota?
Yeah, I think we're gonna finish bottom in the division. I think this is a top 10 draft team. Unfortunately, I just for the collective of everything we've seen, nothing is consistent about this team except that they are inconsistent and they're usually injured in some way, shape, or form. And I don't know how you're going to go into Seattle, into Detroit, into Green Bay, into Dallas, into New York, and win any of those games. And if you look at that. That's 4 losses on the season already. That's 5 games where I'm absolutely predicting they're going to lose. I don't think they're going to beat the Ravens. Maybe they will. Maybe I don't know how you answer the Lamar Jackson question. And then they also have to play the Packers and the Lions again. So if you add 4 plus 9, that's 13 losable games they have on the year.
And Green Bay's looking pretty good. I thought they were going to struggle a lot more against the Steelers, and they didn't.
Me too. And they, right now, as it sits, they are the number 1 seed in the NFC. Who had that on their bingo card? The Colts and the Packers halfway through the season were the number 1
Despite that
seed.
tie with the Cowboys.
Yeah, and the Cowboys tying. Now, if they would have won in Denver, it would have looked a lot different. But because they have that tie, they're like only a few spots above Minnesota. Out of 12, is it 12 teams that are eligible? Yeah, in the hunt, because they don't show you the teams that are not even in the hunt. But out of the 12 teams that are eligible, Minnesota is 11th. So it's not good.
Oh, boy.
The Commanders are the only team below us as of yesterday. So, yeah.
And, we get told as fans, be patient, let things work out. The problem with that right now is we're calling this Minnesota Vikings team a rebuilding roster. But where are they really rebuilding? I mean, they're trying new things on the offensive line that, haven't worked out this season. You got a new quarterback. But otherwise, I don't really know how much of this team is rebuilding.
We're going to allow them, and we're going to do the playoff pictures, and we're going to share real quick. So everyone should be able to see my browser now. So the Colts, number 1. The Patriots at 2 is a shocker. I thought the Bills would be running that division forever. Eagles at 2 is not that surprising. Bucks at 3. Seahawks winning the West is a little odd. Steelers at 4, first in the AFC North. That kind of shocks me. And the Broncos in the West over here at 3 is very shocking. Um, Chargers, Jaguars. Jaguars still down there. It's kind of crazy. This is what's crazy to me because these 3 teams are a lot better than these 3 teams, which is not what it's been the last 3 or 4 years. The AFC has been a gauntlet, and the NFC's kind of been like, we're here, and now, yeah, Mac Jones. Shout out to Mac Jones and everybody on the 49ers. They're injured as hell, and they keep finding a way. Here's the bubble I was talking about. You see Minnesota way down there at 12? Yeah. The Bears are right on the cusp, which is
And the Panthers
crazy.
are in there above Minnesota. That's not good.
Above the Cowboys. The Falcons dog walk the Vikings, and they're above us. The Ravens being down here is weird. Oh, here it is. So we can see who the worst teams are. These are the worst teams in the NFL, and the Vikings are right there in the mix.
Oh, wow. The Titans are actually under the Jets now?
Oh, it's so bad. It must go off of like points scored and stuff like that too.
So bad.
But yeah, this is where we're looking at. The Chiefs being on the bubble is kind of weird to see after all these years, but I think they're going to start climbing their way back in. Probably going to sneak out of that and kick the Chargers. Or I'm sorry, the Jaguars out of there. But that's your playoff picture right now. Nobody in their mind had this pick. Maybe some people had the Packers being this good, but definitely nobody saw the Colts having the best record in the NFL right now. That's crazy.
Where is Kansas City on there?
Number 8, they are right on the bubble. I was just saying they will surpass Jacksonville at some point. Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Yeah, current probability at 46. I don't see them holding on to that. Chiefs will be maybe not a division winner, maybe not. I don't know. It's still a lot of games left, but I know the Chargers are they should be a top. Oh, I thought they were undefeated in the division. I'll have to look and see what the record is in the AFC West. But yeah, I can't believe the Broncos are 6-2. Ugh. What is football this season? Who's good? I don't understand anything.
Who's the Colts quarterback these days?
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Lee. You hadn't jumped in yet. I was like, don't, and I'm not picking on you specifically, but I was like, don't come at me with we should have kept Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold. Nobody wanted Sam Darnold at the end of that Rams playoff game last year, so I don't want to hear any of that. But I don't know what Daniel Jones could have been.
How come every time I see someone write Bucks as in Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think they're talking about Buckies?
Oh, we're getting a Bucky's here, like one exit down from my house. I'm so stoked.
Go.
Oh, I can't wait.
But I don't know if I'm going to be here for next week's show because I might not be in the right way to do it. I don't know if I'm going to be here. It might be both Kyles. I might be here. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But we'll definitely be back next week to talk about that game against the Detroit Lions. I'm not sure how it's going to go. But you can check out my work over on the Viking Age. You can check me out on social media at MNVikingZombie. Pretty much any social media, you can hit me up there. Kyle Smith does some stuff somewhere.
I don't feel like promoting that. I'm going to promote your stuff and ours. First thing I'm going to promote is this channel. If 8 of you are watching right now, please follow us on YouTube. This is going to be the easiest, fastest way to get our whole collection, all 619 episodes. Probably a couple more.
You get a fun little notification if you follow us, and that makes me happy.
You hit the subscribe button and you hit that notification bell. When I schedule these shows here on EV Mux, our platform of choice, you will get a notification that we are going to go live and you can jump in every time. What we like to do and we pride ourselves on the show is interacting with everyone, giving everyone a shout out, unless you're some Kick or Twitch bot. I'm not going to give you that, but real
I don't
people.
think we have any. We do stream on Kick. We stream on Facebook Live. We stream on the YouTubes. We're even over on my Twitch channel, so wherever you want to listen or feel more comfortable watching us live, come on and join us.
You absolutely should. You should absolutely follow Adam Carlson too. He is at MNVikingZombie on all social media platforms, and he's got some cool stuff if you're looking for more outside of the Vikings. He does a couple other things, but He's a fun follow.
That's true, especially on X where I do my New York Times puzzles of the day. I know you guys probably love puzzles.
I would do them, but they frustrate me because when I can't figure them out, I feel stupid. I don't want to have to Google the answer to a puzzle. And the last but not least, please give Adam a click and a follow here on the Viking Age. I'll show you, and I want to share this because I want to be a good friend. Adam Carlson's page, share here. If you go to thevikingage.com/author/Adam B. Carlson, this will give you in chronological order of his most recent articles here. You just click on one of these like this, scroll through. I'm not going to let you read it, but you scroll through and you get to see the article, and he gets some numbers that put more money in his bank account, and they are in chronological order here for you to have all the access to all of his articles here. It's really cool. He does.
And I
great
have a
work
large
over there.
orange cat that loves to eat, so the more you can hook me up with, a view or two, that'd be amazing.
Do it. Hey, we appreciate all of you. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully Kyle West will be back next week, but we'll talk about the next game against the Lions at some point, and we can't wait to have you back there.
Oh, we sure will. In the meantime, stay classy, Minnesota.